I'm actually potentially getting some notes transcribed with the help of AI, so we'll see if this works. I'm actually kind of curious. It says it will summarize the notes and the transcript once it's done. So I'm kind of curious how that's going to work. So I'm just going to kind of leave that on in the background and see. Although I don't know if it only will summarize me or if I can get it to summarize the Zoom talker. Would love it for it to summarize the Zoom talker, but I actually don't think it will. I think it only does like my audio. Maybe. Either way, we'll see. I still got like 4 minutes, so I'm just eating some food. Check out the dish. We got the chicken nuggets, the rice, the eggs, and the chipotle sauce. Because of course we gotta have the chipotle sauce. It's like the best sauce there is. Got the Yule log in the background, some Christmas music going. Very, very themey for Christmas in here. We're gonna do a quick Parker energy drink review. Very popular series that he's done. This is the Ghost Cherry Limeade Zero Sugar energy drink. Yeah. I can taste the cherry and the lime. I give it a, I give it an A minus. I give it an A minus. I will say it's not my favorite, but it's also pretty good compared to a lot of other flavors. I will say. That ends our energy drink uh, review. So now we're just waiting till the meeting starts. I don't really know why I started this early. I just wanted to. Actually, I just needed to make sure Zoom was working because I didn't do that beforehand, which you should always do. You should always do that beforehand because that can be very bad if you don't. Um, Also, I don't know how to get rid of like the stupid TNS thing on my icon right here that shows up on Zoom. I'm sure there's a way to do it in like this. Avatars, maybe? Ooh, wait, no, I don't want wait. Appearance? I don't think that's it. Video? Probably not. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't want to like I don't want to hurt something at the moment. Ugh. Yep. Just a lovely Thursday afternoon. Let's see what's going on right now on the web. Ooh. There's Gage right across the street. He's about to be home for his lunch break from work. So you'll get to say hi to him really quickly. I made way too much food. I did not need this much. Oh well. I'm not gonna tell him we're recording. So he's just gonna say whatever. Here he comes.
Yeah, the beanbag moved.
I did move the beanbag. Felt it was necessary.
Alright.
I just got like actually 1 minute or so. Hopefully, then it'll be on.
You have to wait.
I'm assuming I don't have to like talk and do anything.
I would hope not.
I'm like, if the only time I would is if I have to do like questions that way, but I'm thinking I can just type them into the chat.
Aren't they gonna realize that you're not there?
What do you mean?
Oh, it's just an information, like a basic information session.
Yeah, it's not like a one-to-one meeting or.
Oh, I thought it was like a group of people that got accepted.
Yes, like I signed up myself for the session and I didn't.
Okay, so you're under your information.
Yeah, I'm under my.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually have to get rid of all the emails they send me after this.
I thought you were under all Jacob's stuff. That's why I'm like, that's gonna be awkward when they ask you a conversation. Then if he goes there and they meet him in person, they're like, wait a minute, it's not Jacob.
Yeah.
So there's a lot smaller of a group.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be recording the audio too. You can talk, but just like hush slightly.
Well, when it only
Just so it picks it up. No, it's picking up me talking too, in case I want to like mention something to send to Jacob in the video itself when he watches it back.
Fuck you.
What do you mean, fuck you? I didn't say you couldn't talk. I'm just saying don't start yelling the whole time.
Oh, you picked the only location in the house that's gonna be it. During the only time
I'm making food.
Don't talk. The only fuck that is the only time I'm in the house today.
I don't see the issue.
I do.
Ouch.
One more caffeine.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. I got coffee this morning, and then I got magnesium. How did it even work out today?
I didn't even need it.
I didn't need it.
For pure enjoyment.
Exactly.
No, the girl I'm going on the date with is drinking a bang right now. I'm like, I want a bang. And she's like, just get a bang. I'm like, well, I thought I shouldn't considering I already had one today. She's like, wait, you already had one? I'm like, yeah. She's like, and you're going to have another one? I'm like, no.
I'm gonna try opening this up again, just to make sure it is right.
Just to make sure it's their fault that it hasn't started yet, not yours.
Exactly.
That's what I normally do.
Okay.
It's their fault. I'll probably start 5 minutes late. I feel like a lot.
Yeah. I just thought they would have at least like opened it up.
Yeah, like let everyone into the room and then.
Yeah. Here we go.
Recording in
Alex, was this everyone we were expecting?
I think we can go ahead and get started.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Tim Sokomo. I am the program director of the Sports Science Master's program here at Pitt. Thank you for being here. Just to
excuse me, just so I can get a little bit of background on kind of where you're coming from. If you don't mind turning on your mics, you can feel free to turn on your cameras if you would like, but I'm just trying to just get an understanding of kind of where you're coming from and what kind of drew your interest to the program. So I'm just going to go down the line. Uh, Eliana, would you be willing to kind of share kind of your background, where you're coming
I'm gonna
from,
bullshit
and
this.
kind of what drew your interest to the program?
I would speak and use words.
Yes, absolutely. So I just graduated in May from University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So go Vols.
I will.
And I'm from Nashville,
This is my turn.
Tennessee. I've always been
Turn
really
off my
passionate about fitness and health, and I'm really interested in just the science behind it. And what really drew me to Pitt was the fact that it's specifically sports science.
say that's.
And those types of programs are
I'm
really
just gonna
difficult
say
to
that I'm here
find. And I
for
really
a
like the
friend that's
focus
joining
on
us.
the internship aspect and getting real world
Sounds good.
experience.
That I'm
No,
just
I
kidding.
appreciate that. Thank you
I don't
very
really want
much.
to. I don't want to lie about that
I
because then
lived in
you
Tennessee
might
for
start
3
asking me
years.
questions that I don't know the answer to.
That's fair.
Mia, I'll give you a second. Nick, would you mind going next?
Yeah, sorry, I can't have my camera on right now, but I'm not actually planning to attend, but I'm in here in the stead of a friend of mine who's at work currently, and he can't be here, so I'm just gonna take some notes and give him any of the relevant info he wants.
I appreciate that. I will tell you that I put our program website in the chat as well as my email. So if your friend has specific questions to either myself, or I know Alice will put her email in the chat as well, feel free to direct questions our way.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Mia, did you find a spot?
Boom. I'm muted now.
You didn't put the camera on?
Nah, I didn't want to.
No worries.
That happened as soon as you.
Bro, we get started.
Wait,
There's literally gonna be three of us.
who's he talking to?
Right now, nobody's like going to.
Apologize if I don't have much of a voice. We was just telling Alice that we got done with our practical
One of
exam
these
for our
sessions he now has
S&C
one.
course, and because I have a larger section than the other individual who teaches the class, it took quite a long period of time. So a lot of talking on my point.
Oh, oh no, what I want. Either option sounds good. I want shit, bro.
What are your options?
Chicken or chicken or salmon. That's
In the
not the bad part.
meantime, while
That dry ass
Mia's
pasta.
figuring out her spot to speak, I'm just going to share my screen because this is what we're going to be going over in terms of presentation and everything. So, but anyway, Mia, go ahead and just let me know when you're all set. But I'm going to get started here, and then we can chat afterwards if you have additional questions. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an overview of our master's program. So the biggest question that we still within the field actually struggle with answering is kind of what is sports science, and so the way that I want you to think about sports science is not so much of a what, but more of a how. And I say it that way because there are a lot of different solutions to different questions that we have. And as you'll find, sports science teams consist of a lot of individuals that have varying backgrounds, and they'll be able to answer questions with specific expertise a little bit differently. But also, not every single question is the same. But ultimately, sports science is focused on the optimization of human performance and using scientific methods of inquiry. In other words, using the data to drive our practical application. So we base our program based on the professional standards of the NSCA and the CPSS. But as you can see, all the different competencies, everything in there, we try to expose you to all of those things while you're here. But we want you to understand and each of these concepts, but also we train you as a generalist so you have a general understanding, but then um, could also move forward with specific disciplines. Mia, I saw that you're ready. You mind sharing your background a little bit?
Yes, sorry about that. I was coming out of another meeting, but I am currently a student at University of Maryland. I'm finishing up this semester, and I'll be applying for next fall. So I'm just here to get some more information, and I'm really excited about this program.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, kind of jumping back in here and continuing on. So I mentioned our professional standards and training you as kind of a generalist, but generalist in the sense that we want you to be able to have a basic understanding of the physiology, biomechanics, research methodology, et cetera, and how we can actually use that information to apply it to the actual benefit and performance of the athlete, our training programs, coach education, all of those things. Now, we also know that there's different pieces to this. We don't expect every single one of you to be an expert in biomechanics or an expert in data analytics. But we do try to expose you to all of these different pieces because each aspect is a part of the sports science kind of an umbrella term. So why Pitt? One of the things I'll tell you, and Mia kind of mentioned it as well as Eliana mentioned it, is that we have a very unique program in partnership with athletics. You could probably count on one hand the number of Power Four conferences that have a sports science program directly paired with their athletics team. And I bring it up that way because we actually have a very good relationship with both the strength and conditioning staff as well as our sports science staff to be able to give these experiences to our students. So the internship specifically is you get to work directly with the athletes, which is something that's very unique because I'll give you an example is that a lot of individuals may want to go on and work directly with a Division I football team. And oftentimes what ends up happening is people will stand there and they'll fold towels. Like that's what they'll do for their internship versus like we allow you to actually coach the athletes. We allow you to test the athletes. You're generating reports for individuals depending on what your role actually is. So there's a lot of different pieces to this, but the main thing that we want you to gain is a hands-on experience that you can directly apply to your future workplace. The other thing that's not on here is that in the 2025 rankings haven't come out yet, but the 2024 rankings in terms of sports science programs actually ranked our program the top sports science program in the country, which we can obviously separate from a number of individuals. But I think part of that has to do with the internship experience, the research that we're generating out of here, but also the faculty to student ratio. Our current cohort we have 22 full-time students, 20, and then one other part-time student as of now. It's the biggest cohort that we've had, but we do ultimately have a cap at about 30. So we haven't necessarily gotten there yet. There are some unique challenges given we want everyone to have a positive experience and we want you to be able to be exposed to the many different things that we have here. So who should apply? You, obviously sitting here, but part of that has to do with different backgrounds. We like to have people who are coming at this looking at sports science from different lenses because we can all learn something from different people. So we've had individuals in this program who have rehab background, they have medical background, obviously strength and conditioning, sports science, data analytics backgrounds. We've had individuals that are on the sports medicine side of things, nutrition side of things. So all of these different things contribute to a sports science team and also who can benefit the actual athletes overall. So generally speaking, we want you to have an interest in athletic performance. So the one thing I want you to understand is that we focus on sports science here rather than exercise science. Exercise science, we're focused on kind of the biological adaptations to exercise in general. Versus sports science, we're focused on performance. We obviously want our athletes to be healthy, and that's a piece of it, but focus on the actual performance side of things so that they can perform well on the court, field, pool, et cetera, et cetera. But the other thing is being able to collaborate within a multidisciplinary team. As I mentioned, there's a lot of different pieces to the sports science puzzle, and we want you to be ingrained in all of that. So, in terms of our timeline, applications are open now, and we are continuing to review those applications as they come in. There are 4 prerequisite courses: ex-phys, Intro to Nutrition, Intro to Stats, and then human anatomy and physiology, GPA requirement, and then we have our different pieces of the actual application itself. The deadline is July 15th, so we have a rolling admission and up until that point. So I would also advise you, to get your applications in early to just get in the system. Some of these things like the letters of reference and transcripts can actually take a longer period of time, but as long as you're in the system and everything, that's the big thing in terms of kind of getting that ball rolling a little bit. Now, one of the questions that I usually get is, do my course names have to be exactly what these are, or are there equivalents? Typically, what ends up happening is that type of information gets sent to Alice. Alice sends it to me, and then I review different syllabi and whatnot, or course descriptions to actually make that determination. Now, if for some reason one of your prerequisite courses does not qualify, we will give you some options in terms of what you can do. We've had students take classes all the way up until their classes start in the fall semester in August. So just know that there are options there. Alice, is there anything that you would like to add here?
Yeah, no, that's mostly it. I think the prereqs is the biggest thing. Just if anyone has any questions about their prereqs, we're always happy to, review them. And if you have questions about what will fulfill your prereq, we can help you out with that. We will also accept, online coursework as long as it's from an accredited institution. And again, especially if you're taking online courses, if you just send them to me and we can, do a review to make sure you're not enrolling in something that we would not accept. But I would say, yeah, online courses are usually acceptable depending on the accreditation. But we're happy to look at any of those. The only other thing is for the application fee. So there is that $50 application fee, but we do offer a limited amount of fee waivers. So that's typically offered to like in progress applicants. If you're getting close to submitting your application and you would like a fee waiver, please reach out to me and I can send you the code. We just ask that you wait, until kind of before you get to that payment screen to reach out, but we have a limited amount. So whenever you're submitting your application, please feel free to ask me if we have any of those available. But I think that's everything.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions at this point? I will continue on. So let me tell you a little bit about the classes that you're going to be taking. So we continue to look at, modify, et cetera, our courses to make sure that we have everything up to date that we want our students to get. So if you can see, our fall semester is really our foundation. We want all of you to have these courses as a general baseline foundation of understanding and the different concepts. So the sports science practicum is the internship. So you will have this every single semester. So fall term, spring term, and summer term. But we also have you go through an advanced assessment course, advanced strength and conditioning 1, because we believe that everyone should have a general understanding of the training process. Exercise physiology to understand the underpinnings of kind of what causes the changes that we see, but also as part of the practicum, you're going to be doing a capstone project. And part of what we want you to understand is the research methodology and statistics process, because as part of a sports scientist, you're going to be using data to help drive your decision making, but you're using a research mentality to do that. So every single person will take a research methodology and applied statistics course. In the spring, you will have your practicum 2. Everyone takes sports nutrition, as well as a seminar in sports medicine and a research seminar in sports science. So every single person is taking those classes, and then you can see the couple classes in italics here. You have options. So the way that we're viewing this right now is you're kind of choosing a specialization. So some individuals come in with the mentality that they want to be a strength and conditioning coach. If that's the case, we generally recommend that people will take strength and conditioning too. Other individuals who want to be more on the data science side of things, we recommend people take the data analytics course. So you obviously have the option. That's something that you're going to discuss with myself, Dr. Allison, and your us being your advisors to kind of guide you toward the course that's going to be the most applicable to you. So right now, coming into the next semester, it's not quite an even split. It's pretty close though in terms of where the students are going, in terms of which class they're favoring, but not favoring, choosing, I should say, for their specialty. And some individuals who have, for example, a more solid foundation in strength and conditioning may choose to take data analytics as a kind of a more well-rounded experience. But again, we'll have those conversations as you come through. And then obviously, Sports Science Practicum 3 will be taken during the summer course. So within the internship, and this does not encompass all the different locations that we have. We actually just set up another agreement with Duquesne University, and we will also have additional experiences down the road that are opportunities. But the vast majority of you will be with Pitt athletics teams. So at a minimum, we ask you to complete 150 hours per semester, depending on which which team you are with. That could be you could easily get that over the course of the semester. I'll give you an example. Football, because they start in basically July, and the soccer start in July. You could have a ton of those hours, and in fact, like all 450 hours that are necessary for your practicum, like basically done in the fall semester. At which point we can still continue that conversation of kind of which direction in every way you want to go. But all of these would actually count towards your experience if you were going to sit or choose to sit for the CPSS. And again, different locations. We have the Neuromuscular Research Lab. We have Rebuild Performance and Rehab, which is more return to play. Pittsburgh Penguins Elite is their academy, and obviously Carnegie Mellon is right down the street from us. So the other technology that you might be exposed to here is going to be dependent on which teams you'd be placed with. But just know that we have access a fair amount of toys to play with here. And the benefit is as you get more exposed to different pieces of technology, the more that you can be versatile in terms of assessing the athlete, but also being able to display the data to make evidence-based decisions. So just know that there's a lot of pieces of equipment that we can use. So I mentioned previously that we want you to be part of an HPU, or what I would call a human performance unit. So you can see the different players that are kind of all involved here, but also kind of where that last piece is kind of missing is where you would fit in as part of the human performance unit. All of us are trying to work collaboratively because we all have the same goal on campus. Just know that we're trying to improve performance, but also we're looking at it from different lenses. So obviously the sports psychologist is looking at things a little bit differently than the actual data science people, compared to strength and conditioning coaches, compared to the dietitian. But we all have the common goal: is to keep the athlete healthy, and then obviously prepare the athlete the best that we can so that they can perform well. All right, let's talk about the capstone project. So within practicum, you will be asked to complete a capstone project. This is a research project where ultimately you will create a paper and present your findings in the final practicum course. So this is done over the course of several semesters, whereas first semester it's kind of formulating your ideas and then refining those, collecting the data, etc. But I'll go through those different pieces here. So Ultimately, by the end of the fall semester, we want you to be able to provide a proposal of your actual capstone project. So you'll sit down with myself or Dr. Allison, and we will kind of refine what you have for your actual project. Prior to that, you'll be going through your literature review. But ultimately, I'm saying that it's not a thesis project, but it involves a lot of the same pieces of a thesis project. So, second semester, you're obviously going to finish collecting up your data, analyzing the data, and then your first drafts by the end of the actual semester are due. So this is like a full paper draft that has your methodology in there, your introduction, and all of that. And we will go through several different iterations of this to help you kind of refine that. But ultimately, during the summer term is when we want you to actually present that to us. So we're going to actually have a presentation day where we'll all sit down. You'll go through your presentations. The sports science staff, strength and conditioning staff are always invited to come watch those because the information that you're using being collected from the athletes is ultimately what's being used for your projects. So these are just several examples of different projects that were done. So you can see ratings of perceived exertion, you can see force velocity profiles, um, internal and external loads in terms of basketball players. And here's several others. So you can see that we've used several devices, so like the Whoop device, as well as force plate technology, pitching velocity. So all sorts of options that are out there. So obviously, if you have ideas coming in, you can discuss those with myself and Dr. Allison, and then we can help you refine that. Because obviously, the earlier that you work on these things, the easier it's going to be down the road at the end. So this is an example of a poster that was generated by one of the students for a conference. Heather Betancourt did this one, looking at external load for women's lacrosse. So one of the things we also encourage you to do is actually present this information at a conference. So we actually encourage every single person to actually put together a research abstract for the NSCA conference that happens in July. So ultimately, the goal is to be able to use some of the student resource funds that we have for you to help pay for that conference. And then the goal is to be able to get you to go there, to network, to be able to present your research and everything, to also just get your name out there. There's several different conferences that will be happening over the year, and obviously we try to keep you as up to date as possible with those. So where are they now? This is just a very short list of where some people have gone from after graduating out of this program. So you can see professional basketball, professional hockey, collegiate settings. You can also see that individuals have gone to places like Catapult. So they're in the industry in terms of technology, but they've also gone to places like Army West Point, where they may be tactical strength and conditioning coaches. So just know that there is a vast network that where people can go, and these are just a handful of locations. Admittedly, I should probably update this with some like the recent ones that have gone out, but we also have additional soccer clubs where people have gone. Other medical locations that people have gone. Some people have gone to do PhD programs. So just know that there is a wide variety of places that you can go out of this program. So that's really my spiel. And so you can follow us on Instagram and everything. But that's my information. I also put it in the chat. But if anyone has any additional questions at this time, I'm happy to answer them. And I'm sure if I can't answer it, I know Alice can. So, so are there any questions from anybody?
I was wondering what you're looking for in terms of letters of recommendation, kind of the substance of them, and what you'd like them to reflect.
Sure. Alice, do you want to take that one?
So for the letters of recommendation, we asked for two of them. So we kind of asked that they are both, recommenders that can speak to, your academic performance, but also anything in a professional setting. So if you have any experience, working within anything related to sports science or strength conditioning, anything in that area, like a supervisor would be great for that. But also another one could just be an academic reference. So someone that, a professor or someone you've taken a class with in the past that you've formed a relationship with, they can kind of speak to your academic ability. But then for the supervisors, we're asking more so that they can speak to you kind of in like a job setting or supervisory setting. So it's kind of open for those two rec letters, but we do ask for two of those. So one of each would be perfect for that.
Yeah, so I do have a couple of questions. One was regarding like doing this program as well as a GA position and how manageable that would be with that extra workload kind of coinciding with it.
Sure. It really just depends on what the GA is. As Alice can attest to, there's all sorts of GAs around the university. So I'll give you an example. Our program does not specifically have GAs that are like athletics based, for example. So we don't have like we have fellowships, and fellowships are typically assigned by athletics to certain individuals coming in with different skill sets and all of that. And there are expected hours that you would be working. But with that, you obviously have your internship hours, you have classes. So we've had students do that multiple years. On top of that, we've also had several students. We have 3 in the program now that are actually athletes at the university. So they're in like their 5th year or whatever, or had an extra year of eligibility. So like we have a volleyball player right now. We have a baseball player right now. We also have a cross country athlete. So just know that time management is always going to be key, regardless of the grad program. But you would certainly have the opportunity to do that.
Okay, cool. Um, Last one, would there be any opportunities to visit the campus and observe some of the classes before be committing?
Visiting for sure. Alice, I don't know if I can speak to the actual like classes because I know that that's a university policy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I honestly don't know much about that, but I haven't heard of that being an option for any of our programs. So I would say probably no on the observing the classes, but definitely yes for a tour.
Thanks.
Now, Nick, that being said, I would also say that in order to meet with the other students, like meet with, myself, for example, meet with the other students, like that's something that we can certainly organize, so the students can actually speak to their experiences as well.
Okay, cool.
I also had a couple of questions.
Sure.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
like what, I guess, in terms of like the internship, what would like a day to day look like? Um, what would be like something that I guess they would have us like running through? Yeah, like what would a day to day look like, I guess?
I hate to give you the science answer of it depends, but it does depend on your location. But I'll give you an example. We have individuals who are with that are kind of on the strength and conditioning side. So depending on the person that they're working with, they could start really early in the morning where they could have like football, for example, like they lift at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. But at the same exact time, they may have a group later on in the day, so they may start really early, they may be late, but in between that time, that's when they would go to class. They may bring the athletes in to do some testing and everything. We try to have people relatively central so that they can get place to place. But you could have a situation where you do some things in the morning, testing, training, etc. Go to your classes, analyze the data, speak with the coaches or something, have a practice or something in the afternoon. It really just depends on the individual and the demands that each team has. I will speak to the point that not every single one of our teams utilizes the students the same way in terms of how much data that they're dealing with or what the expectations are on a day-to-day basis. I know for example, like our men's soccer team, they demand a lot in terms of like they want you to be at practices. They want you to use the catapult data to generate reports. They want you to potentially be at the training sessions and all of that as well. So you're very busy with certain teams. I'm not saying that you're less busy with other teams. There's just less of a time demand and or like expectation of what you would be doing on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question fully, but it's very specific to the team, and that would all be laid out like ahead of time.
Gotcha. No, that was very helpful. Thank you. I was also wondering, with the application process, I don't know, maybe I just haven't looked further into the application, but kind of going off of the letter of recommendations question, can we submit more than two, or is it just the two?
You can submit more than two, as far as I know, Alice. I don't think it's has like a limit on it, but just know that I would certainly advocate for the letters that you feel like are going to speak to your abilities the best. I don't think we've had any more than three, just as an example. And I don't know that necessarily having more letters uh, like strengthens or weakens an application, in my opinion, because obviously we're going to look at the whole body of work and everything. Like and let me put it this way, like we've had people apply that may not have done the best in certain courses, but then they've shown progression throughout all of their courses and everything. They may not necessarily have had the GPA that we were looking for, but we still allowed them or still granted admission into the program because of letters of recommendation, progression within their academics, and those and previous experience. So those are all things that contribute to our decisions.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Alice.
Sorry. Actually, I do believe I did get this question from another student. I did confirm with our admissions team that the limit is two for our program. So yeah, we just recommend uploading two. I mean, if it gets like super close to the deadline, which I'm sure it would not, and someone did not, fill out their recommendation and you needed to add somebody else, we could probably do that. But I would just say, yeah, just do two, because I don't know if it'll let you do three.
Any other questions?
Oh, I have another question as well. Do you have any recommendations on good careers or jobs in the sports science industry that I could be working before going into a program like this that would help give some exposure to the field that would be accessible with having a bachelor's degree?
Sure. I mean, strength and conditioning, obviously, like there's a vast variety that people can do. Private practice ends up being the most common. When I say private practice, I'm talking about like those companies that are out there that will do strength and conditioning that are almost specific to certain sports. Just trying to think of ones around the area. Anyway, there's private training gyms everywhere. But also personal training even helps just to show that you have some of that coaching background a little bit, so you can speak to that. Any athlete assessment or experience that you can gain with additional technology that you can put on your resume obviously is helpful. Or if you were even taking if you were interested in like the data analytics side, I know some people will go take courses in or like online courses in like coding and things like that so that they can gain experience doing that. Beyond that, it's really just reading also, just to kind of gain a bigger understanding of kind of what's all out there. I'll tell you, just for example, I don't know if any of you are like NSCA members, for example. If you were, you would have access to the Strength and Conditioning Journal, and there's an entire special issue on sports science that you would have access to. That would have been published. I want to say February of 2024. that special issue came out. I only know that because I edited it. But just know that will give a very broad overview of sports science, and kind of the different avenues that all contribute to that. So I think those are the best resources I'd probably recommend, Aliana. Anything else, Mia, Nick?
I had one more question. I think you had actually gone over it earlier, but the three different practicums, I'm assuming, are different sites for each one, not just staying at the same one.
It may actually all be the same one, depending on hours completed, depending on expectations. The caveat to it is if you've completed all of your hours, like the 450 over the 3 semesters early, we can have that conversation. But it also just depends on what the team is kind of expecting of you at the time, and your advisor and all of that too. So the example that I can give you for people doing different internship sites, obviously, worst case scenario, if there's friction between coaches and all of that, then we can adjust as needed. That really hasn't happened. So most of the time, people stay with who they started with. But football, as I mentioned, we've had individuals who finished all their hours in one semester because they're there all the time. But we've had individuals actually move to actually different universities external to Pitt to finish out their other practicums. So just know that is an option. We can obviously have that conversation, but the other thing that we try to do is within the different sites, for example, we try not to pair. It may not necessarily be paired with a team. You may be paired with Olympic sports. So if you're with Olympic sports, you're going to be with multiple teams, depending on as your schedule allows.
Okay. That's really helpful. Thanks. Ooh,
Anything else?
Such a
Anybody?
sarcastic tone of voice.
fantastic.
All right. As I mentioned, the website is in the chat as well as my email. So if you have additional questions, let me know or let Alice know. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll see some applications from you soon.
Yeah, there.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You bet. Take care, everybody.
It's still recording. Thank God. Ah.
All right, Jacob. You're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful for you.
Hi, Jacob.
Yeah, Gage is here too. I tried to be quiet. I don't think it messed with the audio, but should be good.